poppin', soul family? What is poppin'? Welcome back to Goddess Vision. Thank you so much for being here. We're gonna go ahead and get into this energy with the Starseed Collective, and it's gonna be our Starseed shit energy interpretation. All right. So if you consider yourself a Starseed, if you want to get more information in Starseeds, or if you just need a little bit of insight along the way for your spiritual journey, this and the third, this energy interpretation is meant to help hash out themes of the spiritual journey, ascension journey, soul mission, things like that that are generally associated with star seeds or being a star seed. And sometimes I like to do this because, or I thought to do this, and I like to do this energy interpretation because a lot of times it can feel really, really lonely and confusing when we are going through this ascension and when we feel that we are being guided to do things spiritually, on a cellular level, emotionally, mentally, even physically. And it can seem like you're the only one. It can seem like you don't know what the point is, if there is a point, if you're doing anything right, if you're going crazy, all that good great stuff. And it can also be extremely liberating. Look, star ancestors, hidden secrets, lost wisdom, look a little deeper. So yes, I wanted to also come into this interpretation kind of with a blank slate, which I usually do, but sometimes there are some downloads that have been coming in that usually correlate or resonate, and that may still end up being the case with this energy interpretation. But I kind of just wanted to, if it's going to be that, let it end up being that. Just that void, perspective. The perspective card and the void card are they give the same energy to me. But zoom, none of this matters, zoom out and common ground. And so yes, let's go ahead and get into this starseed energy. We're going to use the Starseed Oracle deck to get a soul focus. We got lots of like little popping out cards, but I want to get a solidified card. This one is baby steps, action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. I feel like we're kind of already getting an idea of the energy here. And we are literally transitioning right now from Taurus to Gemini season. Thank you very much. You are not for everyone. Embrace your awareness and face your true north. Woo! We're still on, and no surprise, that authenticity kick. Well, and Orca elders, share your song, frequency of sound, and diving deep. Okay, we're feeling big themes here. We're feeling big themes of allowing the universal knowledge that we already know to flow through us. And the more we stop trying to figure things out and just surrender to the idea of having to figure something out, that's when you can allow the channel for hidden wisdom to make itself known to you. This is also about effortless existence. Always remembering that perspective, zooming out. And this is a cellular, crystalline shift that is happening within us. Our truest authenticity is being it was unlocked, and now it's damn near forcing its way through us. And this can cause discomfort because it can feel like you are leaving people behind. It can feel like you're not doing things right. Am am I doing this right? Do people feel me? Am I crazy? Am I to this? Am I to that? No. And also remember that you are constantly shifting, constantly becoming and being. And so there is never one way that you ever should be or will be. And to just allow every way that you are to exist, because eventually it will settle into who you want to be, not because there is a specific way that you're supposed to be, but because you are no longer focused on parts that you feel are not supposed to be there, or that are even that are supposed to be there, and you just are being. You are just being, and what it is that you are being is in its full authenticity, without any kind of influence either way. And being able to settle in that is extremely liberating, because it means that you are not trying to prove anything to anyone, and especially yourself, which is the only person that there ever is. Every single experience that we are having, with others or without others, even just experience in general, is a reflection of the expansion and expanded awareness that we are operating out of. And so this is literally about, there is a balancing that's happening, because there is a cleansing that's happening. And by cleansing, there is an energy of understanding this. You're not for everyone, but it doesn't mean that anyone is less than, or anything like that. You are just not, you're understanding that there is only love authentically. Like, this is such an authentic process of being only love, because it requires you to again see what looks like separation, allow yourself to settle in it and all the things that you think will come from it, and then reverse engineering it to align with the embodiment of non-duality. So recognizing that people might not get it right now, this, that, and the third, and then sitting with that and all the things that come with that, it helps you to again reconcile that. And then you're like, it's not that they're not getting it. Now your awareness has expanded, because you get that there's no way that no one cannot get it. There's no way that these negative experiences are actually solid or solidified in the perspective of negativity. There's no way for that. And sometimes it becomes uncomfortable, because it's like, I thought that I was supposed to be diminishing all the all the bad stuff, all the pain, all the suffering, all the evilness in the world. I came here, I saw it, and it's my job to help lift us out of that. And you're exactly right. But the way that we do that is by literally rewriting that story, the story that we keep telling ourselves. Because what is happening is we are trying to transmute that, or change the past, when what we need to do is understand that our beef is not with the past, it is with the story that we tell about the past. And so inside the past, in these things that we call ourselves healing from, it can feel like they were negative experiences. And so that means that negative experiences exist. And so it feels like, it can feel like this journey is about changing your perspective on the negative experiences. And at first, yes, it was, but now we are coming, even again, this is going beyond our perspective. So yes, so it required at first level of going beyond our perspective, or one of the first levels was, in fact, changing our perspective, and then seeing other people's perspectives. Now we are literally going beyond that and understanding, like literally leaving the idea of perspective behind it all. And when you do that, that means that you don't even see a good or a bad. You don't see a right or a wrong. You don't see a healed or an unhealed. And again, that can be kind of difficult, kind of hard, kind of confusing, because it feels like you're giving people a pass for doing fucked up shit, and then they won't learn, and then it won't be fair because no one will get their justice. And then what? And do you see how when you're attached to the story of the past and what it means to be negative, what that does in creation of the future, even when you're trying to see from a different perspective, or when you're calling yourself being healed, or when you're calling yourself being awake or aware or conscious? As long as the story about the past remains, it will continue into the future. And so we are now stepping in as star seeds and wiping that shit away. And since we are the first ones doing it, that means that we have to wipe it away while it's still here. While it looks like it's still here. We have to literally wipe it away and be willing to live like that shit doesn't exist beyond our mind, because we know that it doesn't, and we really have to be about that. And so that might mean that it might look crazy to other people. It might look crazy to ourselves too. Until it doesn't anymore. And because we know that we're no longer waiting for things to look different before we know that they are. This is why it's happening in a space where it looks like, oh yeah, well that sounds good, but look, it's still people getting killed. It's still this and that. Every time you turn on the news, is this. Every time this, or your family is still toxic. Your relationships, you still feel alone. And if you can resonate with this, it is because you're still in that past story. And I know you're like, I thought that I was transcending that. Yes, you are. And that's why we are here. Because there's a part that we got looped in a little bit. And it is this part. It is this part where we are responsible for rewriting the past as star seeds. This is how we change. This is how we shift into different realities. We have to be willing to let go of the past and what it did, what it felt like, we felt or think it was, because it is literally just a mental image, and we have to be just as willing to release that as we have been, even more so than we have been this whole rest of the way. And that's another thing. We talked about some of the little gags that we haven't heard so much as starseeds, because again, now that we're at this point, we are the way pavers. We are the new ancestors. We're the ones now. We've gone beyond any ascended masters before. So that's why we only heard and learned up to a certain point when it came to this ascension, this healing, this enlightenment. And so, yes, that means that when you go out, you know the world as only love, already healed. It's already done. You don't continue to tell yourself stories about the past and why something isn't healed because it looks a certain way or feels a certain way or this, that, and the third. Because that is continuing to be caught up in that story. If you want to really be only love, be only love. And it's not about toxicity and feeling good about what happened in the past. It's literally about letting that shit go and being willing to literally see it different. Like when you go back and remember something that happened that you're not happy about, Be willing to literally just see it different in your mind. What does it matter? If an event happened in the past, obviously we're in a point where we're like, okay, it's in the past, is the past, and we can't it can't be undone. Da, da, da. So why does it, if that's the case, then why even, there's still no reason to hold on to it. And so with that knowing, we can know that there's obviously no point in holding on to it either way. So now we can go ahead and say, hey, like, let's just play around with it. It doesn't even have to be anything super serious or like whatever. You don't gotta be doing it right or any of that. Just play around with it. Next time some shit starts replaying in your head in a bad way, just start seeing it different, like it happened exactly how you wanted it to. And express gratitude for that. Why not? Literally just take that time in your mental space to enjoy that past experience, because you didn't get to before when it really happened. So why keep on suffering still? Next time some shit pops up in your head, in the past or even in the future, an anxiety thought, whatever you want to call it, start playing around with it like it's just as malleable as it is. Because when it's happening in your mind, when you're replaying it, you have all the fucking time and opportunity to make that be whatever you want. You could imagine somebody's fucking 2-3 heads popping out during a conversation, and now you laughing and shit or whatever. You can imagine saying that thing that you felt like you should have said or whatever. It's your mind. You could do what you want with it. And I'm going to leave that right there. I'm going to read for your Not For Everyone, and then maybe the Well and Orca one too. It says, you're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. The world is filled with people who, no matter what you do, just won't like you. But it's also filled with those who love you fiercely. They are your people. You're not for everyone, and that's okay. Talk to the people who can hear you. Don't waste your precious time and gifts trying to convince others of your value. They won't ever want what you're selling. Don't try to convince them to walk alongside you. You'll be wasting both your time and theirs, and will likely inflict unnecessary wounds that will take precious time to heal. You're not for them, and they're not for you. Politely wave them on and continue on your way. Sharing your path with someone is a sacred gift. Don't cheapen it by rolling yours in the wrong direction. Keep facing your true north. This means you're being called to embrace your uniqueness, to own your weirdness, to let the world see who you really are, to reveal your multifaceted, multidimensional nature. Not to dim your light according to who is in your presence, to own all parts of yourself so that your people, the ones who are the same kind of weird as you, can recognize you when your paths cross. The StarSeed Soul Inquiry says, how can you embrace your weirdness and not care so much about what other people think? And this is a big tool too in that rewriting of the past and creation of your future. Because when you rewrite the past and your ideas of what people think of you, or even what people can think of you, that's a beautiful, it's such a beautiful benefit from rewriting the past, is you literally stop feeling like people can even feel any type of way about you other than how you want them to feel and how you feel about you. And so it's a really big lesson, like being able to take this and knowing that you're not for everyone, so that you don't attach yourself to these experiences, but also don't take them into your future and being like, well, I mean, know that you don't have to be for everyone, and everyone doesn't have to like you, but also understanding that that is a duality perspective, a dualistic perspective as well, and that can create dualism in your future too. And so, if you really want to take an advanced course in it, you can take this "You're Not for Everyone" and use it to rewrite your past as knowing that you are actually for everyone. Everyone loves you, and you, just like you love everyone, you only choose to see the beauty in everything, just like people only choose to see the beauty in you. Yes, it's possible. It is so possible to live a life without contrast. It actually is. It actually, literally, actually is. This is the path of the star seed. Again, this is a big teehee that is often, even by the ascended masters that we have of today's time, it's like we'll get to a certain point and then we want to be like, well, yeah, life is always like contrast. It'll always be contrast or duality, and the important part is, being sovereign in your energy, and all that's great. But again, we have transcended that. And so it's not about blind optimism or just blah, blah, blah. But yes, sure it is. That too. Call it that, but just know that it's not blind. Know that you're just walking by faith and not sight. But the point of it is that the only thing that's keeping us in duality is feeling like we have to experience duality as a part of our experience. For what? Whale and Orca elders, share your song, frequency of sound, and diving deep. The whale and Orca elders are benevolent cosmic beings here to anchor a frequency of love into the planet, to harmonize it with their song. As they weave around the oceans, they do so much more than any of us know. Oh, they do so much more than any of us know. Their physical presence affects Earth's magnetic field, and their harmonics call us to wake up and remember our own soul's song. Looking into the eye of a whale is something you'll never forget. That's so true. I've done that, bro. Never forgot it. Oh my God. Never forgot it. Bro, you won't forget it. Their eyes damn near about this. It's like a basketball size, first of all. Huge. Okay? And bro, and I promise you, it's like, I'll have to do a different story time about that. It was a SeaWorld experience. I loved whales growing up. It changed me. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not even going to go all into that. But that line unlocked it. I mean, not that it was ever locked, because I promise you, you will never forget that. Never. Anyways. Whales see into your very being, and in an instant, you're changed forever. They see beyond the physical, the woundings, the identity, the personality, the story. They see right into your soul. Bro. Oh, Lordy. You're being called to surrender to your deepest truth and share it with potency. To bow to who you truly are. To stretch your heart wide enough to hold it all. To leave your fears, doubts, and baggage at the door. To question any part of you that doesn't feel good enough. The whale and Orca elders want you to give others the privilege of seeing who you truly are, and for you to see the same in other beings. To drop your hang-ups and personality flaws and get busy revealing the unique note your soul came here to sing. Allow the song that echoes in the four chambers of your heart to emanate in all four directions. Peel back the layers of suffering and pain to reveal to others your soul's true song, and endeavor to see the soul of all of those you meet. The Starseed Soul Inquiry says, how are you being called to share your soul's unique song? So use our tools, Starseed Soul family. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and get the Lemuria deck and get a source code out of here from our Lemurian friends. And see what is in store for the Starseed Soul Family Collective. Thank you very much. And of course, Gaia at the top of the deck. We've talked about this. Gaia this is a big earth time, big earth time, big earth time. Gonna keep on, it's gonna stay. Because now is the time for us to everybody's getting back to Gaia. Everybody's getting back to Gaia. Gaia had enough of the separation. You talking about you ain't a nature person, motherfuckers littering and shit. Folks don't want to be outside, and then they looking at the people who are outside like they're less than. It's a lot going on. It is a very big, there's a disconnection from the earth, as if we had a motherfucking choice to be disconnected from the earth. Okay? And that was never a thing. And so Gaia is a constant reminder. She said, they said, okay? Cut the bullshit, please and thank you. Go outside where you started. Root chakra, ground and center. Go outside where you started. Okay? Real quick, I will read for root chakra just in case there is an insight in here that we can benefit from. I don't really think I need to read for the earth, nurture, nature, just because we've read it a few times, but perhaps I will. Let's just see. Root chakra, ground and center. It says foundations, grounding, basic needs, survival, physical identity, responsibilities, the place where we build our lives, and time in nature. It says, this image speaks of finding a home within yourself, a sense of deep inner peace and strong sense of grounding and being centered. Yes, this is why we had to read this. Here you can be released from the grips of survival into a place of thriving. And we talked about remaining grounded in motion. Big Taurus energy. Taurus season is not over. Okay, even though this is the last day of Taurus season, Mercury's in Taurus, Jupiter's in Taurus, North Node's in Taurus. Taurus season is okay. So that's why Gaia is making a very, very large presence, and so is becoming grounded, because there's life as we know it. This is new earth, okay? This is new earth, and also it is our job, our responsibility as star seeds, for our own benefit, to remain centered. Didn't we get that card, follow your intuition before it makes sense? The perspective zooming out, none of this matters. And then again, being able to get that ancient wisdom, all of those things are grounding. Being grounded is key for all of those things. And being grounded is also how, when we're moving around here and utilizing these practices, keeping ourselves grounded and centered during all of these phases, transitions, ascensions, motherfucking expansions, shifts, whatever. And especially when during these times, should we be feeling more confused and more doubtful, or we're like, where's this doubt? I've been doing good, I feel I'm pulled in either way, whatever. This is the biggest tool to implement. And spending time in nature, however that is literally the easiest way to do it. There is trust, connection to community, and you can rely on others and joyfully understand your responsibilities in turn. You are held and have strong foundations for all aspects of life. With your guard down, you have the tools to ride the waves if you need. Everything is okay. To restore the chakra, it says spend time in nature. Sit or stand barefoot in nature and feel your roots merging with the earth beneath you. Consider your founding beliefs. If they no longer serve you, it may be time to reconsider your priorities or the foundations you live your life by. Be aware of any recurring patterns that may be holding you back. The themes are home, foundations, physical bases, and responsibility. The healing position is at the base of the spine and the groin, and the color wash is red. And it is Saturn's day, okay? I will read for Earth, Nurture Nature, just in case we need a little bit like how. I don't like being outside. I'm not a nature person. It says the key themes are looking after the planet, the ebb and flow of life, the loving embrace of Mother Nature, the natural beauty of death and decay, the microcosm, time in nature, ancestors, growth through weathering storms, nurturing self and heart so that you may flourish. No one can hold us the way nature can. Mama Nature is a powerful healer and transmuter of dense energies we may be holding on to. Just as she takes in our out breath and returns our bones to fertile soil, so too can she transform our woes if we can allow ourselves to surrender, to lie in her grassy arms, or to be embraced by her branches. Just as plastics and oils cannot be broken down in the earth for renewal, when our emotions become hardened and impenetrable, catalyzed into something more destructive, they cannot be transformed into the compost that we grow from. This is Taurus energy. Taurus is the soil. Y'all know Taurus is the soil, and we talk about this all the time. This is just so beautiful. I love it. Experiences we may categorize as good or bad are a part of life. Death and rebirth are a part of the natural cycle that allows for the continuation of life. Creating something through suppression and control that will not break down will only bring us further out of harmony. Nature is all around us. Notice her and know that when you feel like no one else can hold you, she can. Spend as much time in nature as possible and do what you can to preserve it. The themes are grounding, finding our roots, reliability, physical healing, nurture, solid foundations, fertility, and vitality. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's go to the blind spot oracle and see what we see. The blind spot oracle, I like to use this for themes that we may be seeing as separation, that can look like separation, that we're going through and may need some insight on how we can integrate it. Something we might be missing, something we're not aware of, what we're being made aware of. Yeah. Because the thing is like when you're in this no separation, like I got this, specifically because it's like what you're not aware of. And honestly, the more and more I'm like, there's nothing that we're not aware of, you know what I'm saying? So, and then is like, you know, using it to see what separation looks like to those who don't see separation. So that's essentially what we're on right now. Because again, we are the ones who got to start the shit off. Like literally, we have to start this shit off, bro. And so any and everything that can be separation, even the idea of it is being released as star seeds. And then you gotta think about it. And I know, like, that sounds like, but it's like, bro, as a star seed, why would you hold on to that shit? We have 1, 28, and 44. We just need one, but I like to, you know, say it just in case. But yeah, like literally, this starseed journey is not really, I feel like we're learning that it's not more so about us like getting justice for all of the wrongs and you know, dealing out justice and transmuting this and that. It's literally about recognizing that that shit really doesn't exist and becoming so comfortable with that. Because that's the thing, no one else is. You know what I'm saying? It would appear like everybody else is, you know, holding on to that and telling us that no, it has to exist so that we can learn, and if you do this, you have to be there are natural consequences, and you know, grief and this and that, and the things that make it hard for people to forgive about anything, and there are things that just can't be forgiven or shouldn't, and whatever. And all of that, it sounds good, and it's not about whether it's right or wrong or invalid or not important. None of that. What it is like, bro, that sounds really, it sounds like suffering. What they call it, the trauma drama. It sounds like a vicious cycle that will never end, because there will never be a way for it to, because there will always be some reaction to whatever. In response to this is happening, and then it happens, and then how until we literally stop letting that shit exist, it will continue to exist. We're the ones who, it gets to us, and that shit, we dead that shit. We have 4, and then we had 8 at the top of the deck. And then I'm looking at 9 as well. 1 is your fear. I'm gonna read the ones that I just popped up before that. 1 is your fear. 28 is triangulation, and 44 is expectations. So keep those things in mind when we read number 4, which is your motives. It says, drawing this sigil means that you are not aware of your true motives in the situation at hand. In order to avoid the consequences of this blind spot, you're going to have to be brutally honest with yourself about your actual intentions, motives, and desires. You're going to have to do this even if it makes you feel as though you may be a bad person. As people, life is torture for us to live if we have a poor self-concept. We have to see ourselves as good, but this means that for the sake of seeing ourselves a certain way and being a certain way, and being seen a certain way, we are perfectly capable of even fooling ourselves about the truth of our actual motives, intentions, and desires. For example, we might gossip and plot against someone simply because we are so envious or jealous of them. We might tell ourselves that we are marrying for love when in fact we are marrying a person simply because of status or security. We may say yes to something we don't want to do, but act as if we do want to do it so that we can get whatever reward we are after. It can also be looking at shit from the past and wanting an apology for it, even though you say that you're healed, even though you say you forgive people. It can also be living as like being a light and loving and this and that because you feel like it's your soul's mission, but you but you really is because you're of the shit that you're hurting from inside. You feel me? We do this anytime we have a means to an end attitude. We may be acting two-faced, which is Gemini season like a motherfucker. And I'm a Gemini moon, so don't even try. Don't even. We may be acting two-faced, which is always an indication of our true motive. We may be acting two-faced, which is always an indication that our true motive is being hidden. We may pay the bill simply because we want to force people at the table to be indebted to staying allied with us, as is so often the case when someone does something to displease us and we say, after everything I've done for you. The problem isn't the motive itself. The problem is we are fooling ourselves about it and fooling others about it. This delusional, look soft, look stupid, look whatever the fuck. Because you know better. And again, fuck about, you're not for everyone. So if they see what you're doing and see it as, oh, they're being stupid. Oh, they're letting this happen. Oh, yeah, love and light, but you're going to get taken advantage of. Even if that person telling you that shit is you. You know better. We must be willing to really admit to ourselves what our actual motives, intentions, and desires are, even if doing so makes us see ourselves as bad or wrong. Emphasis on makes us see ourselves as bad or wrong. Otherwise, we are leading ourselves and others straight down the path of suffering. And then 8 is bypassing. Let's talk about it. If you've drawn the sigil, what you do not see is that you are bypassing in this situation. Bypassing is a coping mechanism that leads you to believe that actual resolution has taken place when it hasn't. Bypassing, or whitewashing, is the act of using beliefs to avoid facing or healing one's painful feelings, unresolved wounds, and unmet needs. It is a state of avoidance. Because it is a state of avoidance, it is a state of resistance. Spiritual beliefs of any spiritual tradition, and even simply societal beliefs, can provide ample justification for living in a state of inauthenticity. They can all provide justification for avoiding the unwanted aspects of one's own feelings and state of being in favor of what is considered to be a more enlightened or virtuous state of being. In today's world, we have little tolerance for working through our pain. We much prefer instantaneous solutions that involve numbing out pain. When we whitewash over our issues and try to avoid them, it is premature and false transcendence. It is dangerous because it sets up a major division internally. It creates a definable split between where we really are and where we think we should be. It enables us to lie to ourselves and delude ourselves and live our lives with the projection of a false self. This is not integration. This is selective identification. When we have been hurt, we so often suppress, deny, and disown the part of us that feels those raw, unresolved feelings and identify with a coping part of ourselves that is beyond it all. We cannot heal unless we are willing to admit where we are and who we are. Bypassing is like breaking your leg, but being unwilling to admit it, putting a plaster over the compound fracture and trying to continue forward anyways. If you have drawn this sigil, you may be using positives to deny, reject, or disown negatives. For example, you may be using higher spiritual truths to invalidate the parts of lower dimensional reality that you find unpleasant. You might be convinced you are somewhere that you are not. Ask yourself these questions. In this situation, am I avoiding the fact that I feel like I am deficient and not good enough, or bad by creating a persona of a spiritually transcended person? Am I using certain beliefs to avoid my pain or problems? Do I feel like the spiritual me is different from the embodied me? Am I using a belief to justify an insecurity within myself? Am I using spirituality, or anything else for that matter, to avoid looking at things in my reality that I would rather think didn't exist? And also asking ourselves again, am I holding on to some shit because I need to heal through it, or because I need to revisit it, or am I holding on to it because holding on to it makes me feel like a good person, makes me feel like I'm being a good person, or because I was wronged and I overcame it, and this, that, and the third. Because a lot of times when we're looking back, like especially if it's something that's happened a while ago and it's not so fresh and raw, even if it is fresh and raw, but a lot of times, like, we replay the story so much that it isn't even, the pain isn't even where we where it was when we had the experience. We're not even hurt by or hurt in the same way that we were when we had the experience. Now we're just hurt that the experience happened at all, because it makes us feel like deficient in some way. And then the reliving of that experience and it becomes now holding on to it or dwelling in it because it is something that you're telling yourself that you overcame, and because you overcame it, you are superior, or and not even necessarily superior or better, but like you're more woke, you're more enlightened, you are this spiritual person. And that is bypassing. It really is. So it isn't the obvious way when you're just, the blind optimism. We already talked about that, or whatever. The actual bypassing and not sitting with shit and just saying, that you're past it and it doesn't hit you at the spirit level or whatever the fuck, blah, 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 blah. That can also, too, be bypassing, obviously. I feel like that's a very obvious way of looking at it. And not to say that it's not as important as any less obvious ways of looking at it, but you catch my drift. Because also there are some of us that have transcended that part. It may still even feel like that's what it is. But it's because zoom out. Because it's rarely ever what we think it is. It's always, though, how we think about what we think it is. So let's get the Cosmic Oracle. And I don't know why, I just love this deck. It reminds me of the energy of the Oracle of the Seven Energies deck. And both of them are like very much rooted in love, unconditional love. And I just love them for grabbing, like, I use the Oracle of the Seven Energies more for like an energy tool or an energetic tool to use. And then this is like, it's kind of the same, but this one feels more rooted in like specifically the heart space. And it kind of reminds me of like the ways probably in which we are showing love to others but need to be reminded to show it in ourselves. Surrender. Golden Crown. Ooh, I might read for both of these. And this is a newer deck too, so I'm also getting to know it better. $31, surrender. Surrender to what is. Let go of what was. Have faith in what will be. Sonia Riccati. It says you are being guided to surrender. Surrender your worries, burdens, and control over outcomes and just be with life in this present moment. By surrendering, you allow yourself to move forward naturally. You allow life to move forward naturally, as it should. Resisting the natural cycles of life only causes anguish and frustration and feeling of constant struggle. Dear one, stop persisting in swimming the other way. When you push against life, life pushes back, and what you resist most will continue to exist in your life. Do you feel perplexed by the fall of autumn leaves? No, for there is trust in the natural cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. Everyone experiences these cycles. However, most of us live in a state of unawareness and resist the cycles of birth and death within them. This doesn't mean that you should quit, but rather make the decision to trust in the cycles of life. When you are in acceptance of what is, you become more empowered to attract the outcome you desire. Acceptance does not mean giving up your power and light to another, allowing yourself to be ill-treated, or giving up on your dreams. Acceptance is giving up your resistance to what is and allowing Spirit to guide you to do what needs to be done. When you surrender that light, when you surrender that tight hold you have on the situation and bring yourself to a place of inner peace, you will find that clarity. Solutions will appear and allow deeper wisdom to guide your way. Energy that once was spent on resistance will now be focused on projects that bring you joy. This in turn will attract the miracles and blessings you so hope for. The affirmation says, I surrender to this moment and trust in Great Spirit to guide my way. The associated chakra is the solar plexus. And I'm not even going to go into more about that because we talked about that earlier before I pulled the card. So I will read 14 Golden Crown just because I want to see what it say. Okay, I think maybe we've gotten that, but I don't know if I read for it. If I did, I don't remember. So it says, your light is magnificent. This is also the second 14 card we have, because then you have another 14. I think that was the Earth card from the Lemuria deck. 5. Changes, changes, changes. It says, your light is magnificent. Let us now uplift and honor the radiant light of others. Congratulations on your amazing journey so far. Acknowledge the spiritual and personal growth that you have achieved, dear one. Celebrate this moment. We are all here in spirit to rejoice in just how far you've come. Your strength and perseverance have paid off and your future is bright. The gift of the Golden Crown has been placed upon your head in honor of all you have already achieved. Bask in the glory of love that rains down on you. You deserve it. Are you up for your next adventure? We here in spirit need your assistance. Many souls who dwell upon this earth are disconnected from love. They do not know their worth or see their inner divine light. We ask that you assist in helping humanity see its creative potential, power, and brilliant light. Be conscious of feelings of judgment and envy. It is easy to get caught up in either two of the energies. judgment of those you see as less empowered, and envious of those you see as more. We talked about this. Guiding others to their inner light requires love, empathy, and compassion. There is no one less or greater than you, for we are all a part of the same source of love. Help us guide humanity back to the remembrance of who they are with a pure heart and mind. You have the will to go the distance, and you should be pleased with your personal success. Go now and be of service to humanity. Blessed be. The affirmation says, I am positively shining with spiritual light, love, and compassion. Illuminating, I inspire others to be the blessed radiance they truly are. The associated chakras are heart, throat, third eye, and crown. Beautiful. And so it is, soul family. That is so beautiful. Thank you so much. Woo. This is beautiful. It's giving God his vision. It's giving, look at your life through heaven's eyes. Look at your life through heaven's eyes. I know y'all know the song, and if you don't know it, go listen to it. Okay? It's from the Prince of Egypt soundtrack. The character Jethro is the one who sings it. Okay? Big energy. Big energy. That's literally how you will create heaven. Look at your life through heaven's eyes. We are creating. We are creating now. We are coming from the 0 point field, the source of creation. So be mindful. Be very, very mindful, especially as starseeds. This is our mission. Be mindful of what you are creating. And be the catalyst, be the vessel through which others know that they can create the same. We are not looking at others like they have to be healed, including ourselves. We are not looking at humanity as good or bad, less than, none of that. No. We have transcended that, and yes, this may be an uncomfortable portion of it for us because it feels like we're doing something that we shouldn't be doing, and we're bypassing, or we're enabling, or whatever, and it's not about any of that. We already know that. We talked about that. This is about literally creating heaven on earth. The kingdom of heaven is within you. We are out here loving like Jesus, not due to anything other than because we can, for real, for real. And we're not afraid to. We are not afraid to. Fuck about what all the bullshit. We know better. And we are not creating from that space anymore. That's the beautiful thing, is even if we think we are, we're not. We can't be. It just isn't happening. That's why it feels weird to be trying to. She guards the waters of life in a beautiful place. A lot of 4 energy, a lot of 5 energy. And we went from 4 to 8. 8 is that abundance energy. 8 is that infinite energy. Doubling up on motherfuckers. Doubling down on motherfuckers. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up with an Earth Warrior Oracle. Y'all know how I like to do. You know I love this deck. It is super beautiful. And then, you know, I also love the healing practices inside. So, yes, this deck is amazing for additional insight. And it also helps us know that even if we are by ourselves, we are never ever alone. There's always energy to reach out and utilize, embody, you know. Ooh, way too many. Guardian of the Amakua, honor of the ancient king, progress on the path, grace of she who rides the owl, and no good thing shall be withheld. Woo! Big starseed energy, Lord. Big starseed energy. Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Can never see through the eyes of man. You must look at your life. Look at your life through heaven's eyes. It's also giving seasons of love. Just one. It's gonna be real specific, real special. Ooh, oh. Hold up. This is still 2. Look, I already knew. You know the Panthera card. This is our soul family card, the precious and rare, baby. Alcoa, spirit of the warrior. Ooh, like I said, this is gonna be real specific, okay? Oh, the sweet paradox of empowering grace. And then Panthera again. Alcoa again. Spirit of the warrior. I want to just get one specific without any other ones falling out and all, none of that. Because the way these are coming out, this lets me know that this message is, like I said, it's specific. I was about to say, just give us some time. There we go. Woo! Diamond Tiger of the Black Moon at the top of the deck. It says second chances bring success. And then our card is the Kanyini. In each other we find ourselves. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I just want you to know something about you. Yes, I did just do that. Kanyini. In each other, we find ourselves. There is a spiritual purpose that only you can fulfill. As you move forward on your journey, you create a space for others to move along behind you. And as the ones ahead of you move forward, so too does room open up for your expansion. Upon this earth, we are all building the sacred temple, each fulfilling our tasks as we assist and support each other in our collective divine mission. How can you help with your heart most actively engaged? What can you offer which inspires and energizes you so much that others are uplifted in your presence? How can you receive from others joyfully, bringing them pleasure? Engage in giving and receiving deeply with devotion. Your wisdom and openness to light generates healing for our earth. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Healing is indicated, especially of wounds about connection and trust, safety and tribe, belonging and permission to be a unique individual. At a physical level, more vitality and ample energy for healing are indicated. At a spiritual level, a deepening awareness of unified consciousness is opening up within you, which will bring you into a deeper divine communion and increase your effectiveness as a healing presence and a sacred activist in this world. I said it was going to be specific now. You have a destiny to fulfill, and there will be much help from many different people to fulfill it. The universe wants you to succeed. Do not hesitate to ask and receive assistance for the fulfillment of your mission to help others. For the spiritual guidance, it says, for the first peoples of Australia, there is no separation between the spiritual and the earthly, and a sacred bond exists between all beings. Kanyini, oh my gosh, this word, hold on. A Pijant Jajara word shared by Aboriginal. Now I can't even say regular words. Thanks. Word Kanyini, a Pitjanjatara or Pitjanjajara. There's so many J's in this word and T's. Okay. There's like a T and a J every other 2 letters. Shared, I'm gonna figure it out too, and I'm gonna say that shit right. But either way, it's important for me to get the word right. But let me not take away from the message. It says, shared by Aboriginal elder Uncle Bob Randall of the Yakunjatjara Nation, embodies love and responsibility. It reflects the wisdom for living with an expansive, unconditional caring for all of life. Say it again. It reflects the wisdom for living with an expansive, unconditional caring for all of life. From Southern Africa arises the term Ubuntu, which translates as humanity. It is an expression that refers to our humanity in the best possible sense. Goodness, kindness, and virtue expressed towards one another. In Ubuntu, humanity is bonded through our societal relationships with each other. We belong to each other and can show warmth to all, even strangers, based on the spiritual understanding. In Zimbabwe's Shona language, Unhu is about right relationship to each other. No child is ever an orphan where there is Unhu. There is respect in leadership as people are taught to guide themselves and the leader remains open to conversations and connection with those being led. I love this. I love this for us. Kanyiri and Ubuntu understand that the individual grows, develops, flourishes, and holds purpose and meaning in connection with greater love, creation, and humanity. To honor the oracle of Kanyini is to honor our sense of belonging, community, love, and the right way to live. We can acknowledge our connections as we seek out and fulfill our innate spiritual purpose for the greatest good. Our purpose brings our being to life and is what we feel we must naturally do. There is a loving and healing genius in the divine and the fulfillment of our authentic spiritual destiny. Thus, all beings are assisted in the fulfillment of their destiny. There are times when the spiritual path requires separation from a collective and the consciousness it holds. Yeah, fly somewhere else, please, because I don't have time. We may feel an internal disconnection from society during such phases as we sift through societal conditioning, casting aside that which does not strike us as truth and seeking alternative views. As we distill our consciousness, we discover a new way to be. Then, when it is time, we naturally seek to live and share this intentional truth with others. We reach out to our people or discover new soul groups integrating into the social fold with our precious offering of rarefied awareness. We realize that conflict with societal values serves a purpose. It helps us clarify our own consciousness so that we can grow stronger spiritually, psychologically, and emotionally. Our offering to our communities can then become an alchemical wisdom. A person in alignment with innate spiritual purpose becomes a conduit for the intelligence of life itself. Conduit is the word that I've been trying to think of this whole session and could not think of it. Oh my God. Their personal journey has a transpersonal effect. They become sacred activists at a deep level of being. Through their presence, things happen. They become a natural catalyst for healing transformation. A human enriched with spiritual warmth and inclusive love is open to others and encourages good in all human beings. I was just about to say all beings, but they are self-assured, knowing that they have an inviolable place and purpose in life. They understand that they can only gain from assisting others. The spiritual progress of another and the sacred empowerment that comes from it is inspirational, rather than a source of jealousy or self-doubt. In the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, principles of Kanyini and Ubuntu are found in the Bhashisvata vow, where great souls plunge themselves into sacred service for the spiritual liberation of all sentient beings. These teachings help us evolve from completion to the from competition to the realization that the moment another is oppressed, denied, or diminished, suffering is released into the collective. Let me say it again. These teachings help us evolve from competition to the realization that the moment another is oppressed, denied, or diminished, suffering is released into the collective. The more sensitive we are spiritually, the more we recognize this, and the more motivated we become to serve the evolution of humanity for the benefit of all beings. For the healing process, it says, find a place to sit or lie comfortably. Imagine, feel, or visualize that every being on the earth is being blessed by divine love. Silently, with reverence and joy, see every being being captured within a circle of golden light. It wraps itself lovingly around the earth. Plants, animals, human beings, trees, bugs, lost souls, and isolated humans. All beings are included in the divine encircling embrace. A feeling of peace, unity, and healing builds within this circular field. Rest here for as long as feels good. When you are ready, gently arise from your meditation and say, may all beings know peace, divine love, and merciful protection. May each one of us know true belonging and fulfill our sacred purpose with open hearts and willing minds. So be it. Place your hands in prayer and bow your head. You have completed your healing process. And another reason why I love this deck, y'all, is because every time I pull a card from it, that's why I pull it last, because it always just so beautifully encompasses everything it is that I was trying to say, was saying, didn't say, couldn't figure out how to say, all that. And so it is. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. And always, again, remember that you are never, ever, ever alone. Even if you're by yourself, we are always here with you. And you are forever a member of the Visionary Vibe Tribe. You know what I'm talking about? The God Squad. You know what I'm talking about? Don't you ever get fucked up. Okay? But with that, I will leave you to ponder, but never ever too much. And I will see you next time. StarSeeds, do your thing. Do your thing, okay? And thank you for doing it. I also want to remind you guys, go ahead, don't forget, leave your gifts, share insight, share whatever it is that you do, anything that you would like to promote. Go ahead and put that in the comments below. Leave love for yourself and the collective below. Let us know how and if this resonated with you, what your favorite part was, and how you're going to take this and integrate it moving forward. I, for one, am literally going to make that affirmation a daily part of my meditation, literally making sure that I meditate on it. What is beautiful and funny about that, why that is so beautiful, is I know I mentioned this channel so much, but it's one of my favorites, the Be Something Wonderful channel. The video that Tom posted today, he speaks about a subscriber sharing their experience in rewriting the past, okay, to literally shift into a reality in which there was only love. There's only love. And a part of what the subscriber said is they were doing a meditation in which they envisioned every being surrounded by love. And this is what created the shift in their reality. And I really want to emphasize, we talked about it in the collective reading. I don't know if I ever finished the thought though, but why manifestation is being so emphasized right now is because this is a time, especially Jupiter and Taurus, where we are not only taking our spiritual wealth and expanding it, but we are expanding it physically here as well. And a part of that is through us literally manifesting our desires, whether it be material, spiritual, whatever, and bringing them here into this 3D because we can. And literally knowing that we can, and because it will aid in the expansion of humanity. And a part of that is us getting our heart's desires. And it's really training, because this is just baseline stuff. Us calling in fucking money and love and whatever, like 3D shit. Not that it's not important or not valuable, it is. And it's so beautiful. But we're in this space of getting to do it more and more effortlessly, to where it's not something that we even think that we have to try to do. And because again, this is baseline. Once we're more comfortable with calling that kind of stuff into our reality, now things like our psychic gifts and this, that, and the third don't seem so far-fetched. And because they're not far-fetched, and because we are literally in a point in time in which all of that is available to us. So this is just the beginning. Us literally mastering manifesting. This is it. This is like training, but don't think of it like training like, you know, us doing it right or wrong or pass or fail. It's literally just us practicing, being in this practice of doing it, and it becoming more and more, and like experiencing it and knowing it through experience rather than just conceptually. So that is why there is such a big emphasis on manifesting right now, and this, that, and the third, because it literally puts us in the mind of how malleable reality really is. And so yes, it's big, it's important. That's where we are. So yes, I love you so much, collective, and I'll see y'all next time. All right, peace.